Now, listen, like I said, I'm glad you want to show, man. I'm happy, that you also came and you joined A Vision Entertainment. To the viewers, this is A Vision Entertainment once again. We back here with another special guest. This man, we're gonna talk about some things, man. We gotta take it back with him. This is Dank.
Hey, we gonna go in. We gonna go in. We gonna go in.
We
I
gonna
love
talk.
this type of shit. I love this type of shit because for me, I tell the truth.
Yeah,
I tell it what it is, how it was,
yeah,
who was there, who wasn't fucking there. I just tell the real because for me, my journey it's been a big blessing.
yeah,
It's been a big blessing.
yeah.
The only part where it still bother me, Dilla passing. You know what I mean?
I heard of,
That's just like my father passed when I was 13. I ain't never get over that. I can't never get over James DeWitt Yancey. There's no fucking way possible for a man that gave me my first everything. When I mean everything, my first everything. You know what I mean?
get right into it. We gonna get into everything, but I want to take it back to Detroit. I want to take it back
Yes.
on how it all started for you, man. Even coming up as a teenager, how did all of that goes into you start rhyming and getting into the game?
Well, I'm originally a dancer. I danced all my life, hip hop, hip hop. I wanted to be one of Scoob and Scrap. I wanted to be like Steezo, leg one, leg two, Fendi from EPMD. I used to do all that type of shit. You know what I mean? My fade, my height, I had a high top fade kid and play. My fade was about this big on top of my head. I brought the Freaky Live shirts to school. I brought the baggy, the hammer pants to school. I brought all that to fruition. I did that. Back then, niggas thought that that niggas was weird because we had these big fades. It used to be a whole gang of us with big high top fades and this is that another. So what we did when we was kids, we taught the seniors what hip hop was.
Yeah.
They didn't know what hip hop was. This is a high school we went to called Persian High School. They didn't know what it was. But to go back farther from that, my mother used to have this boom box, and my mother used to listen to all the old schools, Marvin Gaye, the Shy-Lights, Roger, Prince, Michael Jackson, every journey of music, my mother would play it. Her and my stepfather, they be playing backgammon, listen to the music. So I would be able to get my little time with the radio, pull out the cardboard, put on some B Street, and get out there, do some break moves before my mama want her radio. And one of my homeboys, a good friend of mine, you're not even a friend. I know him since I was 12 years old. He actually took me off the porch. He took me to these people called Rip and Tare. They was like the New York City Breakers. Yeah. Went over there and learned a couple of moves. He was like, "No, they too difficult. I'm gonna take you over Thurman Keith House." So then he took me across Mound Road, and Keith and Thurman, they used to break in backwards flips and everything. So they actually taught me how to windmill. So once they taught me how to windmill, it was over with. It was over with. So I'm ready to go challenge niggas now because they taught me good. So then my boy Pooh, he took me down to my boy Putt house. Putt, Mike, BB, had me challenging niggas now. I'm out there challenging niggas. I'm getting in talent shows. They had a talent show on my block. We was trying to win them. They was the winner got a boom box. So we was trying to win the fucking boom box. So I didn't have to ask my mother for the radio no more. And next thing you know, I'm at the church. I'm windmilling like crazy. I'm ball busting. I'm going crazy. Keith and Thurman, they taught me good. And one of my homeboys wanted to be in the group, but we already had the group set. So he went on Mount Road and got Keith and Thurman. So when they came to the church, they seen me windmilling. They like, man, you stole our moves. I'm like, man, y'all taught me this, man. What the hell? What you mean? I stole this from y'all. And we battled it out like a motherfucker. And they beat us by 1 point. And they got the fucking radio, man. They got the radio. 1 point. They got the radio.
You took it back to the radio, right? I'm thinking about how Crush Groove was when the Fat Boys won that stereo system. Remember?
It was basically like that on some real shit. I'm not even gonna lie. Like we had a big ass crowd. We was going back and forth. I pulled out every move them niggas taught me. They like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? They only beat us by 1 point. Just 1 point. Just 1 point. And so it was kind of devastating because we really needed that radio because we'd be in the middle of breaking, popping, and everything. And mom would be like, damn, bring me my radio. I'm like, shit.
Yeah. Damn. You go outside like that and then put the cardboard down. Yeah, that's classic, right?
So it used to be a body shop around the corner from my house. You know, the body shops had the big cardboard.
Yeah.
So they had the big cardboard. We couldn't get the laminate. You know what I mean? Couldn't get the old classic roll up laminate, but we could go to that body shop and get big ass cardboard. We're right on and drawing and go ham on that shit. That shit was like crazy. Them was some classic times, man. Them was some super classic times. Those era and those times made me who I am. It started it all off for me with that era. My brother, he DJ'd, so he used to make tapes in the window. We have a crowd of people in our bedroom room. He'd be scratching and stuff. He have a tape playing that he taped from the radio last night and be cutting with it. And then it'd be like the Wizard. They'd be like, oh man, you didn't cut that. But he did. He was cutting, but he just taped the tape and cut along with the tape. You know what I mean? He improvised. But music was just always in my house in some form of fashion, and I just stuck with it, and kept moving with it. So I'm really like as they would say, a street nigga. I did a lot of different things. I did a lot of different things that, you know, I wasn't supposed to do. But at that time, it was just a phase because it was an empty spot. Because my dad was gone. If my dad was alive, I wouldn't have been doing the most. So I started from a half an ounce to an ounce to an eighth. From an eighth to a half to a whole myself. And it was just like I got kind of paranoid because it was just me. So I was just moving, trying to do something what one of my friends showed me to do. He had went to jail and he left me a beeper. And this fucking beeper, I swear to God, this was $1 million beeper. The fucking beeper drove me crazy because I couldn't do shit. I had to stay right by the house so I can go to the payphone, do what I need to do all goddamn night long. Just beep, and I had to go deal with it. And he taught me, he's like, just deal with it. You'll see the results at the end. Just deal with it, D. I'll be home. He was locked up. He said, just hold the beeper till I get home and shit. So he was locked up for about a year, and he finally came home. And I was like, man, take this motherfucking beeper, man. I'm tired. I can't even do this shit no more. It drove me crazy. My kid's mother, she was like, you need to stop selling drugs and shit. And I was like, damn, for real? So things started going now. So we started going to the kiddie disco. Me, Frank, Dilla, and our friend James Calloway. Wasn't no music starting yet. I I met James. I met James DeWitt Yancey, aka Jay Dilla, Jay Dee, Silk. I met him in 1984.
Y'all went to high school together, right?
We went to elementary, middle school, and high school.
Yeah, so
So
y'all came.
I knew him since 1984. So I knew him before it was a beat machine, before it was anything, before anything like that. In them times, he used to be a hell of a DJ, hell of a cut scratch. Like he was crazy. So he was the one to get the party started, and he'd bring me and one of the homies. He knew that we would just break out and get the dancing and get the kids off of the walls and shit and get the dancing. So no matter what party it was, Dilla and Frank, they come in and get me and the homie. Because they know we gonna get it. We gonna get it. We gonna set it off. And we gonna set it off. So it came to a point where Dilla mother and father got him a Ericsson turntable for Christmas. So he had a turntable at the top and 2 cassette players at the bottom. So what he did was, the rubber piece in the tape, the tape recorder
inside the tape with
yes.
go through.
Yes.
Couldn't take that out.
He took that out and he started pausing the record and making beats. So I'm like, these beats was honestly,
it was crazy.
No word of a lie. The beats he made back then was timeless. They could fit right now.
Yeah,
that's how good they was. It was really good.
Quite sure.
So I set up I had a 3-way. He had a 3-way. Another homeboy had a 3. Another homeboy had a 3. So I had these 3 ways going, and I'm like, "Yo, cue the tape up." He's like, "All right," and he played the tape, the beats, and everybody was like, "Oh my God, this is crazy as hell." They couldn't believe it. So everybody wanted to meet up at the school to see him. You know what I mean? Because me, Dilla brother Earl, he was in my class. And his brother Earl knew how to draw like a motherfucker. I was the man drawing, but when they moved back to the neighborhood, he took me out. I'm like, God damn, this nigga can draw like a motherfucker. So he's like, you got to meet my brother. I was like, your brother? He's like, yeah, you gonna meet him on at lunchtime on the playground. So we go on the playground, and this guy come over. He got a motherfucking briefcase, some colored Levi's, a snakeskin belt, and a silk shirt. I'm like, who the fuck is this? He's like, that's my brother. I'm like, oh, I dress like this and shit. You know what I mean? Because I wasn't hip with the snakeskin belts and the silks yet. I was still young. I'm like, God damn, this nigga. And then he go in his briefcase and pull out a bag of Kool-Aid. So he used to pour the sugar in the Kool-Aid, break it to school, and pour in niggas' hands and shit back in the day. So he's like, this is my brother James. I was like, what's up, man? This, that, and the other. We kicked it, this, that, and the other. And started the friendship from there. That was it.
At what point did y'all ever run? Did you ever go to New York from Detroit? Like, how often were y'all going down to New York after you got put on? You was making music there.
Well, my first time going to New York, it was for Dilla was working with Conant on Chocolate for Water, and this is my first time going to New York. So Conant wanted him to bring me and shit. Big shout out to my brother Con. Con was a big inspiration for me and Frank as we was coming up, moving closer to our situation with MCA. He would allow us to be in all his sessions. He'd send for us all different types of shit, just for us to see it. So my first trip to New York, we go to Electric Lady Studio, Jimi Hendrix old studio. Legendary Bob Power is there, the engineer. He worked with every fucking body. You got the Roots, Questlove, Black Thought, Jaguar Wright, Frank Knuckles, High Tech, Mos Def, Talib Kweli, Case. Buster, and who else was in that goddamn studio? And came through the door, Dave Chappelle. So I'm like, so for an individual first time going to New York and you seeing all these people and everybody
all that time.
know me. Everybody know me. And it's like, and Dilla be on the board and he'd laugh and he'd be like, I told you. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, because what he would do, he'd make these demo tapes of ours and he'd give them to niggas. So that for them to hear us and shit. So that when Dave Chappelle came in, I'm like, oh my God, Dave. This when Half Baked had just came out. I'm like, oh my God, fucking Dave Chappelle. Yeah, he wasn't big yet, but he still was that guy. Because as soon as he came in, everybody got to laughing and shit. And he like, I ain't even saying shit funny. What the fuck is so funny? And I just bust out laughing. He said, I heard you be going to Canada. I got this Canadian weed for you. So he went in his pocket, put out this big ass bag of weed, rolled up a blunt, and he gave it to me. I was like, what? He said, that's for you and shit. And I was like, Dave, is Mr. Smiley for real? He says, Mr. Smiley for real. So he went in his pocket and he grabbed out 4 big ass bags of Mr. Smiley.
Yeah.
Hold on one second. Yeah, I'm doing an interview. I'll call you right back. So I'm like, damn, this shit is for real. He's like, yeah, it's for real, man. Samson. You like Samson? I was like, yeah, I'm tripping. I can't even believe this is just the craziest shit. I'm like, God damn. Okay. So that was like my first time. So we would go back and forth. When we had our situation with MCA, we go back and forth a few times because at that time, Jay-Z's cousin Beehive, he looked just like Jay-Z, but dark as hell. Just like Jay-Z. And he was managing Dilla, he was managing us. So we'd go out there sometimes and fuck with The Rock. This is at the time when they was drinking Belvedere.
Belvedere.
And we'd see Bleak all the time. We'd see Tata. We'd see Benny Siegel. But every time we came, Jay-Z would not be there. He wouldn't be there. And it was getting kind of irritating to Dilla, like, what the fuck is Jay-Z at, man? Like, what the fuck, man? Every time we come to this motherfucker, this nigga not here. Like, what the fuck? So we used to go out there pretty much and shit.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Let me go back just a little bit, right?
Yeah.
With Jay Dee, with Jay Dilla, right? Jay Dilla was a part of Slum Village. That was his group, right?
That was his group. Yep.
Now, while he's working with Slum Village, he still had time to work with you and Frank?
Yeah, so this is what it was. So me and Frank was more Slum Village before we was Frank-n-Dank. Because we was supporting the homies. Because we all family and shit. So while they be working on them, while he working on them, we'd just be around and shit. We wasn't really doing no music, wasn't even nothing like that. It didn't pop like that yet because he was working on Slum. But soon as he got Slum situated, he jumped straight to us.
Okay.
Soon as they got their situation, niggas got their crib, got their money, got their deal, got their cars, everything. They straight. Okay, now I can shift and try to help out Frank-n-Dank because we would be doing demos. We'll start. They'll go away for a little bit, go to New York, fuck with Tip for a month or two. He'll fuck with Tip and Mobb Deep. He'll come back. Oh man, y'all my Mobb Deep, man. Oh, we gotta do this, that, and the other. Be like, holy shit. Like, so then we'll start, then we'll stop. Then we'll start, then we'll stop. So it was one day, I pulled up to the house, and at this time Dilla had a 50th edition Range Rover. This was unheard of to have in the hood. Only doctors and lawyers had this shit. The drug dealers couldn't even get this shit. You know what I mean? So he had a 50th edition Range Rover, indigo blue, with lambskin seat covers on that motherfucker. The seat covers, them bitches was 2,500 for the seat covers on the front. So and he had a Lexus 450, the one like the Land Cruiser back in the day. So I pull up to the house, ring the doorbell. He run up the stairs. Dang, what up, nigga? Man, I was gonna come looking for your ass. Cause back in the day, I had a house phone, but it'd be on, then it'd be off. So Dilla would give me a code to type in his beeper to let him know that I was at home. The code, to this day, I still remember the code was 56. That was my code. And he'd know I'm at the house and shit. And then he'd come. So we chilling and shit. And he's like, yo, I need you to show me how to roll some weed and how to smoke. I was like, okay, I got some weed. We need to go get some blunts. So I had a 1986 four-door Toyota Cressida. My best friend Bud, his mother-in-law gave it to me, but the car was tricky. So when you start this motherfucker, it's like then it'll go. So I told we gonna take my car. I said, hey man, don't laugh at my car and shit, man. It's like, no, we ain't gonna laugh at the car and shit. So him and Frank got in the car. I started it up. And then it went out. So they laughing and joking and shit. So we go to the gas station, and the guy pulled up on us in a Tahoe. He had the sounds beating the rims, and Dilla didn't like that shit. He's like, man, dang, take me back, because the guy was flogging on us and just take me back. So I showed him how to roll a couple of blunts, and I had to go to work. I was working midnight shift at this place called Edna Steel. It was like a subplant for Chrysler. And got off work, went to the hood studio. Shout out my brother Mike Move. Shout out my little cousin Don Chop. I had to go do some work on one of his songs and shit. So I went to the studio. The studio is right down the street from Dilla house. It's right down the street from Dilla house. So I'm in the booth. I'm laying my verse. And my boy Mike Move said, yo, dang, somebody out here to see you. I said, yo, man, tell them they gotta wait, man. Let me lay this verse. I've been at work all day and shit. So he's like, go and let him go ahead. So I laid the verse, I ad-libbed it, and I came out. Dilla was standing right there. I was like, man, what the I'm like, why you ain't telling me Dilla was out here, man? He's like, and Dilla was like, man, that's what I'm talking about, dang. That's what I'm talking about. Take this picture right quick and we out. I'm like, where the fuck we going and shit? He's like, I gotta talk to you and shit. I was like, okay. We took the picture, went and got in the Rover. He said, listen, I need you to go home and tell your mother you gotta quit that job. I'm ready. I said, what? I said, for real? He's like, I'm ready, man. He said, I already talked to Frank. He said, listen, I'm not going to do no solo shit with Frank. I'm not going to do no solo shit with you. If we going to do this, y'all got to do it together. I'm like, okay. He said, it's on, nigga. So, nigga was telling me that, I got emotional. I cried and shit. He's like, nigga, don't worry about that. We about to get it and shit. So the big challenge was I had to go home and tell my mother I got to quit this damn job. Yeah. When you stand in your mother's house, all she asks for you to do, you're going to be under this roof. You got to have you a goddamn job. You know what I mean? Right. So I went home, came in the house, knocked on my mama's door. I said, Mom, I need to talk to you. She said, Derrick, what you want? I was like, oh, shit. Like, oh, fuck, this about to be some bullshit. So she come out, and I said, Ma, I got to quit the job. I said, Dilla ready. And she was like, Derrick, James ready for real? I said, yeah, man, he ready for real. I said, I don't need no money or nothing. Just if the kids need something, just do me a solid, just get it for them. Cause I'm about to go on. I'm about to go in. And then she said, Derrick, James ready for real? I said, yeah, man. She said, you know what? Let me go back a little bit. At that time, I was at the end of my rope. I couldn't deal with the job. Couldn't see my kids like I needed to see them. So I was at the end of the rope. I was just frustrated with everything. So when I say Dilla changed my life, true story, Derrick Harvey,
Yeah.
he changed my life. True story. A lot of people say, yeah, Dilla changed my life. No, this is a whole nother different type of shit. Totally different type of shit. So she was like, Derrick, is James ready for real? I said, yeah, man, he is. She said, you know what? Go ahead and quit the job.
Wow.
So if I didn't get the cosign from my mother to do it, I wouldn't have been able to proceed and chase the dream. Yep.
You know what? Dilla seemed like he was very loyal to you. Like he never gave up on you. It's like he kept coming for you, kept coming for you. You know, because you know that's rare. Some people won't just keep doing that. They'll give up on you. Once they get big, they'll stop messing with you. But he really kept loyal, man, to you. You know,
It's like he one of my bestest friends, not because of music, not because of that, because I spent a lot of time with him when there wasn't no music, when no music involved, that this, that, and the other. I'm gonna go back for you. So we in middle school now, and we had gym class. Everybody hated the gym class because the gym teacher and his assistant, they was like some weird motherfuckers and shit. So I took music class, so I had to go to gym. So I'm thinking I'm just about to be playing with the drums and this, that, and another. Fuck no. This is music theory and all types of shit. I'm like, fuck, what the fuck did I get myself into? Shit, this is fucked up. So the whole first semester, I'm fucked. I got a big ass F. I didn't know what the fuck to do in this fucking music class. I just know I didn't want to go to gym. Next thing you know, Dilla came through the door. He's like, dang, man, what you doing in here?
In school?
I was like, man, I didn't want to go. We're in middle school.
You can't do the gym.
No, he came to the music class because he didn't want to go. Because he didn't want to go to gym, so he came to music class too. So he got in the class, and he knew how to play all the instruments in that motherfucker. Every last instrument. He knew the music theory, everything. So he taught me how to play all of the hip hop shit on the piano. Eric B. and Rakim, BDP, Salt and Pepper, Kid and Play. It goes on and on and on. So now this is the kicker now. So Miss McConnell, Dilla was her favorite. So she didn't bother him if he speak out loud or he say something. She didn't bother him and shit. So when we taking the test, we doing the music theory test and shit, he'd be like, boom, and I'm like, oh, Salt and Pepper. I know the notes. BDP. I'm like, oh shit. Oh, the notes. I would know the notes. So after it was all said and done, I got a motherfucking A+ out that class, did all the winter concerts and every motherfucking thing. Because this man taught me how to play hip hop shit on the piano, and he kind of tricked me to learn the notes and the music theory, because that's all it was. That's all it was. You know what I mean? So on that note, he was solid. He was a good brother. He was a good son. He was a hell of a friend. Uncanny, unmatched, genuine. He tough. When it comes to the music shit, he tough. Ain't no fucking playing around. I had to study. To get in this position, I had to study. I used to have to go over T3 house on the weekends and take lessons from him. Because Dilla wanted me to rap a particular way on the beat. I was a street guy. I ain't know nothing about this is that, and the other. They turned me into the rapper. Because he, like you said, he never forgot about a nigga. It's tons of niggas that was sweeter than me. But you can't be the loyal brother where you know this guy got your back. He know I got his back no matter what.
Yeah, y'all had
If
each
it's a
other back.
jam, if it's a scrap, he ain't gotta worry about it. I'm gonna deal with it. Period. Anybody else ain't gonna be able to stand up to that type of shit. So we had a really solid brotherhood. And I'm forever, ever grateful for his brotherhood. Not just because of the music, for his brotherhood. Because he
Loyal,
was solid. He
solid.
was super solid. He was caring, he was kind, and he always looked out. So he stayed on Conant Garden on Nevada. So it was time he wanted to move now because
Yeah,
it got to the point where people started to know who he was. Because for a long time they didn't know what the fuck he did.
yeah, Big
Get all
John.
the flash shit. They like, yo, who the fuck is this nigga? What this nigga do? And when they found out he was a producer,
Yeah,
they thought he was a drug dealer. Because the look, how he rolling, he like a drug dealer. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
His persona, the company kept like some drug dealer type shit. So, um, so people would constantly pull up to his house and ring his doorbell. So he got to he might be on the NPC. He got to run up the stairs and get the door, and run back down the stairs and get back to his thing. So it got kind of tiring for him to constantly keep doing that.
Back and
People
forth.
just popping up. So he's like, you know what? I'm gonna move and shit. So he had this room full of clothes. He had about 9 clothing racks, all full of clothes, Timberlands like crazy,
Yeah,
brand new gear, everything freshly cleaned in cleaner bags. I mean, the whole fucking room was full to capacity. And the
yeah.
funny thing about that shit is, he didn't wear none of the shit.
It just was
None of
collected.
it.
It was just sitting there.
And so when I always say this when I finally got in the truck, because in the truck it's only 4 seats: the driver Dilla, the passenger Frank, another seat for a celebrity that's coming into town, and it's one more seat.
Yeah,
I'm keeping that seat. Fuck that. I'm keeping that motherfucking seat. So he was like, "Dang, I want you to sell all this stuff." I was like, "Damn, for real?" So before I sold it,
had in the closet,
huh?
all the clothes he had in the closet, what he wanted you to sell.
All the clothes in the room, he
Yeah,
wanted me to sell. The
yeah,
room the room looked like a department store.
yeah,
It was 9 clothing racks in that motherfucker.
yeah.
Full. When we go to the cleaners, we had to have 2 cars, and all the people that work in the cleaners had to come out and bring all the shit. He had so much shit. And he didn't wear none of that. So when we was going out and shit, he'd go get fresh, get him an outfit and stuff. He's like, dang, you just go in the room. Bang, hell yeah. So I just go in the room and get a fit. Every
Yeah.
night we'd go out. Because we stayed in the strip club for 8 years straight, Monday to Sunday.
Oh,
That was Dilla, that was his
spending
thing.
money like crazy.
First it was for the enjoyment, but then it turned into his office now.
Yeah,
It turned to his office. So all the celebrities coming to town, he taking them there. Common, Questlove, Black Thought, anybody that's coming, Talib, we gotta go to the strip club.
they
And
used to
he'd tell niggas off the rip, before you come chill with me,
yeah,
you gotta chill with Frank-n-Dank and catch a vibe. And then we'll work.
okay.
So everybody had to go through us first before
Yeah,
they actually got to Dilla. And motherfucking celebrities, they'll tell you, like, yeah, that nigga ain't lying. We had to go through Frank-n-Dank before we even got to Dilla and shit.
you think
You
was
know what I mean?
a whole vibe out there, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Now check this out, right? When I talk about, let's go back to MCA, right? When you were signed to the label. I just want to know exactly what happened with that because, however, like all of the effort that went into making the major label debut, 48 hours. Now, MCA kind of cast the album to the side, right?
Yeah.
And wasn't no support. What do you think you went wrong, or y'all went wrong with that album, or they just didn't like it?
Well, it's two scenarios with that. The deal was a wish come true. We had just came from Miami for the Winter Music Conference, promoting Welcome to Detroit. Me and Frank had the single off for that pause. Fat Cat had a single, so shout out Peter from BBE. He took us all to Miami for the Winter Music Fest. So we had a couple parties and stuff. And soon as we got back from there, like I got kind of sick because of the climate change from being hot to get back to Detroit. It kind of threw me off. Yeah. And Frank came to pick me up. He was like, yo, we got to go to the bank. We got to go set up these accounts. The check's in. I was like, what the fuck you mean the checks is in? He's like, the checks is in, man. I was like, what? He's like, come on, man. I'm going to go get my motherfucking car, man. I'll bring you back and shit. So our first deal was $50,000 signing bonus a piece. And to record 12 IDs, they gave us $675,000.
They gave
12 IDs.
It was $50,000 a piece. And then for the 12 IDs, it was $650,000 or $600,000?
$675,000.
Okay.
$675,000. So the next following year, it went up to $775,000. The next year, $875,000. The next year, $975,000.
Yeah,
so this was a clause Dilla had put in there for us to grow with the label.
Okay.
It wasn't a bad situation. It wasn't. I have no shade against MCA. It just was business. They wanted what they wanted, and we wanted what we wanted. So what they wanted was when Wendy Goldstein came down. That was our A&R. Her and Naeem. They came down. They heard the demo. They wanted the actual demo that we had turned in. They wanted that for the album.
48
that, yeah. So that's not the 48 hours out right now. That's not the actual 48 hours.
Okay, it was a bootleg out too, but
not 48 hours.
Okay.
Because we had to go. So we went in and redid the whole fucking album.
Okay.
So the problem was MCA was about to merge with Gaffin. We was new. They didn't know what the fuck to do with us. They had Common, they had the Rules, they had all these people, Mary J. Blige, Garth Brooks, all these people that had to get situated to shift over to the new label. And then to make it even worse, we turned in something totally different than what they heard. They wanted to sample shit. What happened was, me and Dilla went to California for Common's gold party.
Yeah.
He was getting a gold plaque for Chocolate for Water. And Common wanted me to go and shit. So I went this, that, but then the next day we had a meeting with the president, vice president, and A&R. And while we in the meeting, the president asked Dilla, what can he expect from the new Frank-n-Dank album? And Dilla told him, we gonna do a whole new album.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
You didn't
this is
know?
all new.
Yeah,
I didn't know.
Yeah,
He
I
said that right then and there. I'm like, holy shit. So the president come to me like, dang, so what can we expect for the new album? I'm like, what the? I'm kind of stumped because I spent so much time on the other 48 hours.
Now you got switch it.
Thinking that was it. But I'm gonna get to why what actually happened.
Yeah.
So I told the president, I said, well, it's gonna be innovative, something new, something fresh, something y'all ain't never heard before, blah blah blah. He's like, okay, we so happy, we so excited, this, that, and the other. So we go in the elevator. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck? He's like, no, we're just gonna do new shit. So the reason behind that is two reasons. One reason was that's when Dilla was sampling. He wanted to play everything. He didn't want the samples and shit. He wanted to play all the shit. And
Yeah.
two, he made us a work schedule. Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, every day, go to the studio and work on the album.
Right.
And the reason why is because if he just would have let us took the demo, he just would have been working. Mixing, mastering, trying to get everything. We just would have been chilling.
Yeah.
With free money. So he flipped it around and was like, we're going to do 10-hour blocks every day till we get the album done. He went and rented all different types of instruments and he sampled himself for the 48 hours. So everything on 48 hours, he sampled himself and played all different types of fucking going to get a xylophone, a tuba, all types of shit. Like
now,
every day.
Now, Dank, real quick, what would you say? How do you feel about this? If had you not changed, Dilla not changed anything, and kept it samples, do you think y'all would have still had that deal? I mean, at that time, you think you would have kept?
I think so.
Yeah, if you wouldn't have changed.
I think so because it's a business.
Yeah. At the end of the day,
I'm older now and I understand the terrain of the business.
Yeah.
When business people, they want what they want. Not what I want to just give you.
That's what they want.
They want what they want. So if we would have gave them that actual demo and said, this is the album, I don't know where the fuck I don't know where the fuck me and Frank would be at this time. We probably been shot through the roof. But then, if we'd have been super mega, we don't know how losing Dilla would have affected us.
Yeah.
We'd have had all that fame and success and money. Somebody probably would have OD'd or somebody that probably done some crazy shit.
Right, yeah. I mean? How things happen. Like God know how to make things happen. We don't understand it, but
Mm-hmm.
Let me go back to that. Like, what actually happened to Dilla? Do you want to talk about that, or?
Sure, we talk about the whole thing.
Like,
Dilla had lupus.
Okay,
he had lupus. He had lupus, and me and him went on a tour, and Dilla eat like a bird. He don't eat like a regular person. You know what I mean? Because he always thinking, and like even like with his hands, the tops of his hands is morphed to the machine.
Okay, yeah.
He had to put band-aids on and shit because he always on the machine all day. Even like going back, he would skip school, hide in the closet, and wait for his mom to leave so he can make some fucking beats.
Wow.
He didn't want to go to school. He just wanted to make beats. You know what I mean? Once he learned, shout out Big Amp, rest in peace, Uncle Amp. When Amp showed him how to actually work that motherfucking machine, that was it. And when I mean by work it, not nigger rig it. Know how to use the shit for real. And he always told me, he said, listen, he said, dang, once you learn the machine, it'll do whatever the fuck you want it to do. And I'm saying to make beats in 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 3 minutes. And it hits. Janet Jackson beat, he made that in 10 minutes. 10 fucking minutes.
He was hot. Hot.
And that shit was that beat right there was $165,000.
Wow.
15 minutes. 10 minutes.
That's because he hot and he know how to put it together. He charged what he wanted to charge.
That was their budget. So they kicked that up. They kicked that off to him, and that actually helped us. That helped him and helped us too, that gave him that extra cushion where he could take on me and Frank. Man, we didn't need nothing. We don't need no money. We eat the same fucking food. We wear the same size fucking shirt, same size boots, same size jacket. Get your own pants. What the fuck? We already got the crazy ass whip outside. My first kit, watch and chain. We did a EP for Fat Beats. And Frank went and bought him a new chain. Dilla already had a chain. I wanted to go buy me a chain. I just got a nice check from Fat Beats. And Frank was like, no, thank you, got to go buy you a car and shit. So after we finish the studio session and hanging out, I can just get dropped off in my car and then just go home. So Dilla ain't got to drive. This is that and the other. So I bought this little car. I just bought this little fuckery car just to get back and forth. And Dilla seen that I was responsible. He was like, damn, you bought that car with you? I said, yeah, man, just for, you don't have to drive me. This thing. He's like, man, for real? So we was going to the studio, and on the mic, he had his old Gucci chain, the Gucci piece, and the big face Gucci watch on the mic stand. He was like, that's your kid. I was like, damn, for real? That's man. He's like, that's yours. He said, don't lose that shit. Don't let nobody take it. I still got it to this day.
Wow. What did he manage y'all too? You and Frank?
He was the boss. He was the boss. So we were signed to his label, McNasty Records. So he took care of all the administration and any of that type of shit. Uncle Tim, shout out Uncle Tim. Uncle Tim used to manage Dilla and Slum, and he would do certain things for us too. You know what I mean? Shit like that. Yeah.
I know you still writing, and I know you have some things probably coming out, right? But just let me take that. Go ahead, say it, and then I'm gonna finish it. Go ahead.
I put out motherfucking 19 solo albums.
I know. And you know, back in the golden era, right? You know, let's talk about the golden era for a second.
Yes.
80s and the 90s, right? When you was making albums and doing features on other albums in those years, you can hear the lyrical hunger in your voice, and also Frank's. You can hear the hunger in it, you know, at that time when you was doing it then.
Yes.
Underground flows over tracks. Do you still have that same feeling of energy and excitement when you're doing music today? Because the music today is not the same. So when you writing today, is it still that same feeling?
Well, like I bet a difference for that right there. Okay. And I always try to speak an honest opinion about that. The era of music now, it is what it is. It's no really different from back in the day to now. We need it. The music now, we needed to fill that void. If we didn't have these particular type of artists that's in this space right now, I don't know where hip hop would be, because a lot of the classic guys and OGs, they really stopped administrating the music. You know, a lot of them went to acting in movies. It was done. You know what I mean? LL Cool J, Will Smith, Queen Latifah, a lot of the GOATs have moved on from it.
The bigger thing.
To bigger things. So I just feel as though that it's not the same type of top tier, because the music is kind of like manufactured a different way now. Back then, they used to have the crazy ass hip hop drums for real, the crazy ass loops and samples, the crazy ass concepts. So this is that and the other. Not to say they don't have the same concepts. This is that and the other, but I just feel as though that era is a sacred era. We would like for it to be administrated into this era, but it's not going to happen.
It can't be. Just leave it alone. Basically, like it can't be
No,
touched.
not leave it alone. We still glorify it, salute it, but we
Yeah,
gotta let everything run its course.
yeah. Basically,
That's what every genre, not just hip hop, every genre of music, it's always like that. And it's hard for the consumer, the fan, to accept the change. I don't knock anyone on this journey because everybody have a story to tell.
yeah.
From where they were standing at, what they was doing, what they was living with, whether it's unjust, on the block, just feeling good, just as that. Everybody have a story, so I can't knock the next generation because they got hell of a stories. Because now they don't have no. Back then they didn't have no daddy in the house. They ain't got no mama, no daddy. Grandma gone now. Grandma passed and gone to heaven now, so they don't have shit. They don't have nothing but the fucking streets. So if you get an opportunity to get in this music and put out some music and catch you a wave, because the money is different now. The money is more significant than it was back then. You can be independent. Had the right people and the right team around, shit, you'll be a millionaire in less than a year.
That's right. It's way different.
Back then, it was by a co-signer getting you in there to get a situation. That's how you would get on. They discovered you from somewhere. The discovering of the talent, you got to be your label, the management, producer. You got to have all that shit in-house now. In check. Because if you do the right thing, you will make money in this motherfucker now. Quick.
They making it quick.
The younger generation, that's why I don't knock the young motherfuckers. They making fucking money for real. You know what I mean? We might think, a million streams, 2 million, 5 million, da 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 da. It is what it is. Everybody not getting that check for that. Everybody not getting that check from Spotify, from YouTube, from like that. And certain people that's being able to clean out all of those checks and provide for their families. You know what I mean?
The money is definitely it's now, but back then it was a different type of vibe. It was different.
Oh, it was totally different type of vibe. It's untouched.
It's untouched. It's unmatched.
You had to be there to witness that.
That's right.
If you was there to witness that,
right.
You got to be thankful. You got to be thankful. And like my oldest son, he do music, and I just educate him on that era. You know what I mean? This is that and the other, and to really instruct him, to tell him, just be you, man. Don't try to be nothing else. Just be you. And as he been growing, his pen got sharp as hell. Sharp as hell. Goddamn, he got some shit.
Wow. You know what I wanted. This is very important for me to ask you. Throughout the years, you've been in the industry, you've been in the game, doing your thing. Even you and Frank and Dilla. Throughout those whole years, which one was more important to you, education or experience?
Both. They go hand to hand. You can't have one without the other.
Yeah.
They go hand in hand. It's that both of them is locked in. You got to be educated on what the fuck it is. And you have to learn what the fuck is going on. In those golden eras, you got to learn. You got to learn. Right. You got to be paying fucking attention. Because in the golden era, in those eras, niggas used to be rapping like a motherfucker. Not to say they're not rapping now, but it's a different type of rap. They rapping like a motherfucker, for real. Special Ed, J. Rue the Damager, Cypher's Hill, Cube, NWA. Niggas was rapping. Easy E, goddamn Souls of Mischief, Far Side, like Slum. Niggas was rapping. Niggas had concepts and this is that and other. Outkast. I remember when Outkast first came out, my niggas moved to motherfucking Atlanta. They like, fuck this, we out of here. They like, we out of here. We going to Atlanta. And they moved down to Atlanta. And one of my best friends, he still live in Atlanta. Right now since 1994.
He's still there.
And he's still there. He went down there to pursue music. He went down there to pursue music. And did this music thing. Found other avenues to earn an honest living. And then still doing his music. Jump back into his music. Like I told him, I said, yo, this music shit, Killer Mike set the precedence of the journey of music. Music don't have no age on it. Yeah, don't have no age. You still can go win all those achievements and every goddamn thing, man. You still can do it. You just got to be in tune to what's tangible. I record every day. Every single day. As soon as I get off my motherfucking job, I come in my space. Whether I like the song or not, I'm recording it. I have to. If I can go put 9 hours in for the man, I can at least put in 3 to 4 hours a day.
Your own time.
On my own time. You know, plus do my little entrepreneur shit, other little businesses and shit that we got going on. But I spend hours in this goddamn room trying to create, producing, rapping, singing, writing all types of shit, like constant. You know what I mean? Constant. You know, that's just one of those things. Once you in there, I'm about to be 51. It's just the love and the passion of it. You know what I mean?
Right?
I get a thrill. I get antsy and giddy when I get a fresh pack of beats from somebody. Or if I just cooked up some shit myself. Like, oh shit, I'm about to go on this shit. I can't. It's like a kid. It's like the first time when I recorded. It's one of them things, for real. Once you get the industry artist bite, you're gonna always have that. That's just like being an entrepreneur. If you was a hustler growing up, oh, you an entrepreneur. That's what an entrepreneur is, an old school hustler.
Yeah, that's what it is.
That's all it is. You know what I mean?
After the passing of Jay Dilla, which I know was hard, did y'all take like a huge break because of that, or did you continue to work?
Well,
I know it was hard with that one.
Fuck. That's a hard one. We tried to keep moving. We did. I say honestly, we did the best that we could do to keep moving, because for me and Frank, the music with Dilla is a bonus. That's a bonus. I value our brotherhood more than I value the music.
Yeah.
People, the average person would value the music. I value our brotherhood. I value our brotherhood because when people say I got it out the mud, he got it out the mud. I was with him before any type of success or any type of fucking thing. I already knew he was a genius when we was kids. When he started making pause and recording beats, I knew I said, this nigga crazy. This nigga's crazy. You know what I mean? So it's like me and Frank lost a lot by losing Dilla. We lost a lot. There'll never be another James DeWitt Yancey. Just the smile, just the homie pulling the bumping the horn and coming out. He'd pull up to the crib, blow the horn, bum bum bum.
Yeah.
My mother opened up the door. Hey James. My mom loved him. She loved him since we was kids, but she loved him even more because he didn't forget about me.
Yeah.
And he kept his promise. Like I said, my first passport, my first driver's license, my first stunner car, my first tour, my first real chain, my first bag, like a lot of the first things he provided for me. I remember I got I just got the record deal. I got a 96 Impala. And I was in the truck with him and it was parked at home. And one of my homies came and he was like, man, James bought Derrick this car, man. He's like, no, D. My brother was like, no, he bought this up. He bought it when he got his record deal. And the funny thing is, you wouldn't believe what I'm driving right now. A 1996 Impala SS.
Yeah, okay.
I had to go back and get that.
You went back and got it, yeah.
Went back and got it. You know what I mean? But me and Frank, we lost a lot by losing Dilla. Like I said, a lot of the time we was with him, it wasn't about us recording shit. It's just giving your brother that moral support. So it used to be like this. So he had maybe have to go to New York or go somewhere. One of us would go. And it got so embedded and so grained. He like, no, fuck that. If you ain't bring Frank-n-Dank, I'm not coming. He don't give a fuck. You ain't just getting one plane ticket. You getting 3 plane tickets and you getting 3 hotels. Why I ain't coming? Period. Because now you got your 2 best friends, one on the right, one on the left. And we can go back. When I get to telling the stories, they like, oh my God, Dick, I remember that shit. Man, you remember that shit? I remember every single thing we did as kids growing up. So when we in the studio, they're gonna give me the weed. That's my thing. Throw up the blunts for us. They're gonna go give Frank a whole bunch of magazines, XXL, Source, all types of Essence magazine, Jet, all type of magazine. That's Frank thing. And then I'm gonna get the rolling up. He making the beat. Y'all straight? Y'all want food? Yeah, let's order a piece of some shit or some donuts or whatever the hell. And I just get to tell rolling the wheel, smoking, telling the old school stories. Talk about when we went to skating, or we went to this house party, or it was this shootout, or you remember these shoes? You remember this? Oh my God, man, you remember that? Damn, that was my. You can't beat that. You can't beat that energy from your people. I'll give you a perfect example. We in Japan. Dilla got to make some beats for these people in Japan. So he in the studio and all these Japanese guys that got video cameras out trying to record Dilla how he make the beat. You know what I mean? So Dilla was like, yo, hey man, get these niggas out of here. So me and Frank had to get niggas the fuck up out of there. Hey man, y'all gotta come out of here. Stop that. Move out the way. Stop. Like, we can't fit. No. Like, just like that. That just was the homie shit. You know what I mean? Making sure it's safe. Let me check it out before you come in, man. Good? Everybody good? Okay. Everything set up for him. Yeah. Just the homie. You ain't gotta worry about that. I'm taking a bullet for you. I'm taking a shot to the head. I'm you ain't gotta worry about shit. You know what I mean? You ain't gotta second guess it. If it's a motherfucking scrap out in this bitch, you know we gonna tear this motherfucker up. I
Yeah.
can't say that for the next guy. Gonna do that. We gonna tear this bitch up. I don't give a fuck. And then I'm bringing a a, a street element to it too. So I'm bringing all the street niggas, the hustlers, everybody. So now they behind Dilla
All
and
involved, yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
They behind them now. So like we pull up, he'll pull up on the block. We sit on my mom porch. Is like a legendary porch. Everybody just pull up to that motherfucker. And all I ask the homies to do, don't talk about none of his production or any of his work. Let him be normal.
Yeah.
Let him talk about music and Biggie and Pac and this, that, and the. Let him be normal. And the homies respected that.
Right.
So
Yeah.
he'd be able to chill, smoke his blunt, eat some church's chicken, laugh and joke about this artist, this, that, and this producer, this, that, and ain't gotta be scrutinized about what he did, what he created, who he working with, blah, 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 blah. Stay off of that. You know what I mean? Stay off of that.
You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
I know you have a lot of stories, man, and that was one of my questions to ask you to give me a story that happened when you was on on a road, or just all y'all on a bus together or whatever. But we'll get right to that. But what I find is was important too is that at one point y'all had no deal, right? No records out, nothing. But the group basically y'all was like at your lowest point, dealing with labels, this and that, and bankruptcy issues and all this stuff. But something happened when you went to Toronto. Can we talk about that?
Oh, so I'm a Canadian. I'm a dual citizen. I lived in Toronto for 20 years. Been married for 11 years. I didn't want to come to Toronto. That wasn't my decision. It was Frank's decision. And me and Frank almost got into a goddamn fight about us coming to Canada and shit. Yeah. But we had a situation. We knew some people. Shout out Brass Monk, Roland, Mar Beezy, Big C, and his. They had a situation, and we would come up here and record joints for a few hundred and shit. Do a couple of features and stuff. Look at the city and this, that, and the other. This was the time when the deal was fucked up. Because Dilla went to California and he had a meeting. And at that time, we didn't have no management. He had to do the talking. And the deal was fucked up. It's about to merge. They didn't know what the fuck to do with us. It was fucked up. And at the time when it was all good, Common, the Roots, all their budgets was fucked up. Our shit was still up. Okay. And they was about to get ready and leave the label and move on. Yeah. And we was like, it kind of thumped our head. We like, what? Our budgets are still up. We still good. So when the deal got fucked up, they was like, well, we gonna shelve y'all until we figure out what we gonna do with y'all. And we had stayed on the shelf for maybe like about 4 years.
About 4 years.
But we couldn't put out nothing. We couldn't sign to another label. We couldn't do shit. Because the paperwork, the contracts that we had, it was good, but the contracts was taller than me. Right. It was so intense.
So, yeah.
And they shelled out all that money, and they was like, we gonna shelve y'all till we figure out what the fuck we gonna do. And so Frank on the phone every day, talking to the law department, talking to Jay Boberg, the president of the company, see can we get a release. We went around to all the labels, all Bad Boy, Rockefeller, everybody. Yeah, we signed y'all, but you got a release? We didn't have no release. So everybody had the same story. Hit us up when y'all get the release. So me and Frank, we steady. I had went to work at Salvation Army. I was working at Salvation Army with just coming off this crazy ass record deal, all this goddamn money, and it was so fucked up. I had to get something to stabilize myself on some bullshit. And this, Salvation Army was right around the corner. I end up having to go there to do some community service, and it was all ladies work there. And it was like, you want a job? It ain't much, but I say, Dad, I'll take it. You know what I mean? So Frank did the hookup with the guys in Toronto. Shout out Jonathan Ramos. He was a promoter, big time promoter. He's big time promoter now. He's big time promoter back then. He brought us down to Toronto for this thing called Elementos. This hip hop series that he would do at this place called legendary spot called the Comfort Zone. So he paid us $1,500. He paid us $1,500 Canadian, which I didn't know no difference. I thought $1,500 was $1,500. I didn't know the difference and shit. Especially back then, that $1,500 was only probably like 900 or 800, some shit like that, because the exchange rate was crazy as hell back then. So we did the show. He pays the money. Went back. The guys wanted us to come back to do some recording for some people called Needleworks. Shout out Ivan, Joes, and Junior. So we came back. So we was in Scarborough. So when we came back, they took us downtown, and we was downtown on King Street. We like, what the fuck is this? They were like, this downtown. I was like, yo, so where the fuck we was at? He's like, we was in Scarborough. I'm like, Scarborough? What the fuck is that? It's like, it's another little city in Toronto and shit. I was like, oh shit. We didn't know. We didn't know what the fuck. Yeah, so we did the recording. We recorded the song with Ivan and Junior, and they worked at Universal Music, Universal Canada, and Ivan was like, shit, y'all can stay here. It's a couch right here. It's a couch upstairs in the studio. So, if y'all niggas don't mind staying on couches, it'd be more accessible for us if y'all was here to get y'all interviews and do all different types of things. And let's see what we can do and shit. So we was waiting for Roland, Henry, Marbisi, and Big C. They was going to get us a deal with Warner. But it's going to take a little time. But Ivan and them had something already set up for us immediately. So Ivan would go to work every day and look at the radio list, track me and Frank, and me and Frank would be charting with everybody else with no video. Wow. So it got to the point to him, it got really interesting. Like, damn, how the fuck is these niggas charting like this and they don't even have no goddamn video? Like, yeah. So we end up doing extended play. Ivan and Junior and Joe was like, let's just do the album.
Yeah, that's another album, extended play. That's the other album. Wasn't it so part two?
Huh?
Part one and part two, extended play.
Yes, it's two. So one was for Canada only.
Okay.
The first one for Canada only. All Canadian producers. Cardinal Official, my brother Socrates, Landscape, Buddha Brothers, Two Swift Household, all Canadian producers on this album. So we made it just for Canada only. So our brother Jedi, he had distribution through Universal. So, and Ivan them ran all the street team and all that. So, and did all the marketing. So all they did was recorded the album. Socrates, shout out my brother Sox, he did the lead single, Nice to Meet You. And that motherfucker took off. All me and Frank wanted was an official release date. Official. So we got official release date, official release party, official video, official tour. The song went #1. We had 5 top 10 singles. All went #1. All over the radio, billboards all over the goddamn city, all on the subways, everything. Ivan put us G Unit had came out. They tagged us along because we had this look. They tagged us along with a lot of the promo they was doing. Me and Frank would do all the voiceovers for all of everybody fucking record, commercials, all types of shit. They kept us busy. They kept us really busy. I'm forever grateful for them brothers because, you know, they actually invested their own fucking money.
Wow.
Invested their own fucking money. They paid for us a video. I think the video was like 40,000-50,000 back then. Crazy ass video, but it did what it was supposed to do. My brother Jonathan Ramos, shout out Jonathan Ramos again, super dope promoter. He put us on every motherfucking show that came to Toronto, all the big shows, and he paid us. On top of that.
All the music that you made, do you still get residual checks for that?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I got actually, it's funny to tell you said that. I'm working with some people. Got a meeting Friday actually. I'm doing some sync shit for some film and television shit and some commercials with the music now and shit. Instead of just sitting there, let me see, can I assess it and put it somewhere. And then we got the Frank-n-Dank European Vacation. This was the last tour we did with Dilla. Dilla came in a wheelchair. Working something out with Netflix right now to get that on Netflix. So that's gonna be really dope. You know what I mean? Some new cuts, some new edits in it too, some new stuff that's gonna be put in there. Yep.
That's dope, man. You know, like I said, you had a lot going on, and you wore a lot of hats back then with Jay Dilla and Frank. Y'all did some big things, man. I definitely want to thank you for coming through A Vision Entertainment because I wanted to hear you. When you had a story, and I knew we can go on another hour and a half. You know what I mean? So
we can go 3-4 more hours. Shit.
I already know that. So you have a history, man, of being around some great people, man. You know, and you have stories on all of them. But I want to thank you, man, for that, for coming through. Dank, MC Dank, President Dank. You got all of that.
Hey man, I truly, honestly, I appreciate you, my brother. I love to sit down and chop it up with journalists that be on their shit. Yeah. And this whole time you've been on your shit. And what you been on your shit is still just a vibe. Right. It ain't gotta be. Yeah, you can have your notes, but it's still a vibe. Yeah. Like I did a podcast with one of my guys the weekend, and he wrote all these notes. Yeah. And after we just got the kicking, he was like, "Man, Dank, you know, I don't even need this shit, man. It's just this shit just flowing, man. You got like stories like I said, I ain't even went in on all the shit like that. It's just genuine. When you have an opportunity to express yourself and sit with you journalists and be able to be on your platform and tell your story, hey man, that's the big blessing. You know what I mean? That's a big blessing. No matter how big you is or how low you is, it's still the same shit. Right. Because you're gonna reach some people that's gonna appreciate the time and super respect you and then respect me just as well. Like, damn, this was dope. This dope. So I'm thankful and humble. Thank you for having me. I'm so glad that I caught that message. This was God saying, check your goddamn DMs, nigga. And I checked that and caught it before I missed it. And I'm grateful and humble that I caught it, man. For real.
I thank you, man. I really appreciate you too, man. I do. And before this, let the viewers know what's next for you and what you're doing and when we can expect from you.
Okay, right now, me and Frank got a new album on right now. It's called WF&D Radio. That's
Okay.
out right now on all major streaming platforms. We have the tour for Japan starting in September. And
Okay.
then we have our European tour that starts in October.
Wow.
Um, I have a new album coming August 6th, a solo project, but the whole family on it. It's called Free Game with Crystal Chemo. The production, Crystal Chemo. I got Illa J on it. I got Frank on it. I got my son on it. I got Frank's son on it. That's like the fam on this Free Game album.